Accra to Hong Kong, Hong Kong.
And the Minister of Public Works, I authorize by law to execute the loan financing agreement for and on behalf of the Republic of Liberia. The loan financing agreement, when ratified by this honorable legislature, shall constitute a valid and legally binding obligation on the government of the Republic of Liberia and shall be enforceable in accordance with the terms and conditions of the agreement. That is our legal opinion. And having said that, we want to add one or two comments that in the history of our practice of law, this is about the best agreement we have seen. For 536 million, you have an interest rate of 1.46%, whilst in other places, you will be discussing interest rate of 6, 7, or 8%. It's double layer asphalt pavement, 2 lanes, 505 kilometers of roads. But more than that, you have 7 years interest and principal free grace period. The purpose of law is not to hinder, but to facilitate. Our laws are intended to ensure that there is value for money. This objective is met by this agreement. The agreement contemplates a consortium of construction companies, including Liberian companies. Moreover, in consonance with the practice in the industry, the owner's engineer will be appointed and vetted by the Ministry of Public Works to ensure compliance, strict compliance with the construction agreement. Our agenda to build Liberia is time-bound. We are moving ahead. Honorable legislators, to identify friendly institutions and companies to Liberia. Some of them may be middle-level countries, while we will not negate our association with the large countries. There are middle-level countries, there are middle-level companies willing to assist. And of course, the bureaucratic legitimacy associated with these companies and countries may be far less than those of the big countries. Those we intend to take advantage of. We want our people to travel throughout the length and breadth of this country. We want you, honorable members of the House, to enhance your representation by going up to your constituent, talking to them, and coming back overnight. In fact, I have started to ask people in some of these places whether I can acquire farmland, because I am going to be going up, making my farm, and coming back. I come from Bomi, but I may not do it in Bomi. As there's one country, I want to go up to Sano, where my friend Eton is from, and may farm there. I will go up to Grand Cru. This is what our country is about. Now, before I resume my seat, I see a lot of skepticism amongst our people. Probably people say once building, twice sharp. But give the process the opportunity to work. I hear such things as there is no website for Eton. Is the money coming through web? We talking about somebody giving you money, then you are in fact interposing hurdles. Oh, they have no address. They are registered in Singapore and in Hong Kong. And for tax purposes and strategy, they operate mainly out of Hong Kong. But the issue is, why are you interposing all of these difficulties? You, who will be the recipients of money. Why? Because maybe our people are accustomed to bad government, so they want to continue to live with bad government. No, we shall move away from there and we shall build this country. I thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Minister. We're now entertaining Mr. Tenney, Leicester, on the civil society perspective.
Thank you, Mr. Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Minister. Thank you.
Justice Minister, thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Tenney, the civil society perspective. Thank you.
Paradigm. They always argue debt to GDP ratio. But in reality, there are 8 criteria that one must examine before coming to the conclusion that a debt is bad or good. The IMF and the World Bank will only hold one. These are the 8 criteria. Debt to revenue ratio, debt to foreign trade, debt to expenditure, public debt to export ratio, external reserve to GDP ratio, debt to GDP ratio, inflation to GDP ratio, and public deficit to GDP ratio. The game of the international system is to see us continuously underdeveloped so that we will continuously rely on aid. Africa remains where it is simply because, not because of the absence of resources, but because we accept the imposition of their constraints. My fellow Liberians, we need to radically shift and create our own model that will enhance our own developmental needs. The Liberian economy is about $2 billion. $2 billion. The argument of the World Bank is that your debt to GDP ratio should not exceed a certain percentage. But this is the mistake of their economics. This is the mistake of their economics. If your GDP is $2 billion, how can you sustain an infrastructural project with that kind of GDP? 2/10 of our country is inaccessible. 10 counties in this country do not have paved roads. 10 counties in this entire country. That's 75% of the country do not have paved roads. It means that we are losing an economic potential of 75% that should contribute to our growth, which we call GDP. So if our GDP is low, our borrowing ability will be low, therefore putting us in a very precarious situation to develop. If we expand, creating access to other economic corridors, it will create the enabling condition to increase our GDP, therefore contributing to our growth. What is wrong when we decide to pave roads? What is wrong even if Lucifer comes and gives money that will enhance our growth? What is wrong with that? Our argument should not be who gave us money, but what we will do with the money. The government is telling you that we will create access. That is an agenda for change. That our people must not continuously live in the villages where they cannot see car road. Honorable, the growth rate in the southeast is very low. it takes a man about 2 hours to go visit his girlfriend. How can we populate and increase population when people get tired going to visit? How? These are serious matters. If you look at the demographic dispersion, Liberia, the Southeast are one of the low demographic dispersion. It's because people are tired going to visit. Before you reach to your girlfriend, you're already tired. How can we grow population that will create market? Because with population comes market. With growth comes the issue of tourism. Economic activity will spur. You do not need to go to Harvard to know what is good for you as a people. That is what makes us a sovereign nation. That it is about time we radically examine existing economic model and adopt our own. There is no crime in academia that says that you cannot adopt your own model. It is time, Honorable, that our country change. And we beg your indulgence that we should not mind what the IMF and World Bank requirements may be. There are ways we can parcel it. The end will justify the means. When they see the roles, when they see the growth potential in those areas that otherwise did not contribute significantly to the growth of this country, then their minds too will change. Africa remains underdeveloped because we fail to think outside the box. They have argued that we made a mistake. Yes, let us continually make mistakes to produce roles for our people. If that is a mistake, we love those kind of mistakes, so that economic activity will spring up in those communities. People have produce but cannot come to the market because farm to market roles do not exist. Our people continuously remain poor because the ability to survive is not creating. The urban environment has been constrained by different group of people. Honorable, it is time that we think outside the box and move this country forward. Public infrastructure, such as highways, is believed to provide services to many disadvantaged people on the continent. There is a correlation between public infrastructure and economic growth. Public infrastructure brings up causes, meaning that there is a causality. Countries that have invested in public infrastructure always have higher economic growth. In economics, we call it bring up causality. That infrastructure will give a positive relationship to growth. Why can't we adopt that model? Even if you examine the neoclassical growth model, they will tell you that invest in technology. But what they did not tell you is that technology is an exogenous variable in the classical model. It means that it is on model. It is on model. Because it is exogenous, it does not form part of the system. It is outside the system. So we should not be deceived by these level of education that they claim to bring. We do have it. And it is about time that we present our education for the sake of our people. That we beg and indulge in Honorable that this country transformation depends on your swift passage of the loan agreement. Thank you.
Swift passage of the loan agreement. Thank you, Mr. Lester Teddy, about presentation. Okay. Now we bear informed.
We heard the executive cabinet and executive did by going out to make sure that the proposed agenda is supported by starting with the coastal route. Those of us that live in the southeast, when we heard this, we are so proud and happy for the fact that, believe you me, if you go to Grand Eton today, the bag of rice is like 5,000 that term of just the half bag of rice. Not to mention Grand Cru. You cannot get gasoline. Gasoline today is like 800 to 1,000 in our area in the southeast. And the gentleman, the expert, as he mentioned, when you are in an article, you can leave Abidjan and go and travel to Tabu and get back. Huh? And when you are here to leave Mauritius, you can go Ganta today, and we should give blessing to the Unity Party-led government of Her Excellency for what she did. I know we are one of the governing council members of CDC, senior member, and we know the dream that President Weah has. But the problem sometimes that give her a hard time is these so-called bureaucracy and bottleneck. And problem sometimes we believe, we said that we are patriotic, but we are not patriotic. Any issue that come, those that are in a beer bar or at the Atai Center, they say all sorts of things instead of helping you, the honorable member. But you have your constituents. So what you are here to do is to ably represent your constituents. And you are representing your constituency. What you know is affecting. We will ask those caucus members from the Southeast to lobby vigorously with their colleagues not to allow this budget that has to do with the coastal road of 540 to waste time. Please allow it to pass, and let us also bless the executive and His Excellency the President, and let some of us that are here, if you have the means of going out to look for investors, get some investors that will talk about the road network. Road is security. Water is security. Where you do not have road, your crops cannot come to the market. So today, those of our people that are planting cassava and all these things, they are living in abject poverty because they do not have the means of bringing their crops to a place where they will get exactly what they suffer from. So we want to add to the committee, to the cabinet members, the finance, as well as the justice minister, I will vote to ask you to please consider this to happen. And let us give the committee on Ways and Means Finance, the public work, and the other committee members to allow you to go in your chamber to reflect soberly and see how best this will pass, so that it cannot be that the national budget up to now that may God bless you.
This country. And I believe the dream of this president will come true. So I'm surprised of Liberian to stand up in the base of Liberian to say that the justice minister say, I don't care where the money coming from. What do you want? We want road. We stand up to that southeast. We walk by land 8 hours, 9 hours. You go into your girlfriend. So now somebody beat you because there are no car. I'm surprised to see some people to stand in the midst of all to say, the justice minister, I beg you, give our time, give this government the time to carry road 2 to our place. We're tired. Biggie India will not do nothing. From 1847 up to now, where are we today? Somebody want to help you. Giving you 7 years before you start paying. Are you not happy? I'm surprised of you to stand before the Liberian people to say, I beg you, give us a chance. This time is the time for CDC to open the eyes of the Liberian people. Thank you very much.
Necessary to comment on the name of Mr. Brian. Then okay. Thank you, Minister. Mr. Brian, please listen. The Minister is responding to what you said.